Welcome to your video for Saxon Math Course 1, Lesson 8. Today's lesson is all about perimeter. Our objectives for today: after this lesson you should be able to recognize that the total distance around the classroom is the perimeter of the classroom. Find the perimeter of a shape by adding the lengths of the shape's sides. And find the length of a side of a square when the perimeter of the square is known. Some review from last time's video. Remember we talked about lines, segments, and rays. Lines have arrows on both sides to indicate that they go on forever in both directions. Segments have a point at the end of each line to show that they are just a piece of a line, so they do not go on forever. And rays have one point and one arrow because they go on forever in one direction. We talked about the U.S. customary system. You're used to using that with inches, feet, yards, and miles. And we also talked about the metric system: millimeters, centimeters, meters, and kilometers. Today let's talk about perimeter. So perimeter is the distance around the outside of a shape. You can think of it as putting up a fence around something. Another use of that word: police officers use that word, so does the military when they want to set up a safe line around an area where maybe something happened, a disaster or something like that. They want to set up a perimeter around the area to make sure that nobody can get in or out without them knowing. So that's what perimeter is. Find that number, that distance, by adding up all the side lengths of a shape. And I want to stress to you that you make sure you add all the sides together, even if all the measures aren't written. Sometimes your book will give you a rectangle especially, and they'll only give you 2 of the side lengths because you only need to know 2 of the side lengths on a rectangle, since the top and the length and the width, both will be the same. Here, let me draw a picture of it for you. So we've got a rectangle. Say this length is 4 and this length is 2, and that's all they give you. Then you also know this is 4 because the top and bottom are the same, the length is the same, and you know this is 2 because the width, the shorter side, is also going to be the same. So you have to make sure you add all 4 sides. Don't just add what they give you. That will only give you half of the perimeter. Let's do some examples of perimeter. So first I have a rectangle here, and I'm given that the length is 6 feet and the width is 4 feet. So if I were going to do this perimeter, I would add 6 plus 6, which is 12. 4 plus 4 is 8, and then I add those two together. 12 plus 8 is 20. So the perimeter of this would be 20 feet. All right, let's do another one. Now we'll have this different, it almost looks like a rectangle, but it's not quite. You can see that the sides are slightly slanted. So we call this a trapezoid. So let's see what our dimensions are here. So we know the top is 10, the bottom is 15, and the slanted side is 7, which means this slanted side is also 7. Remember what I said about making sure you add all the sides up. So for this one we would do 7 plus 7 is 14. Then I could add my 15, that would be 29. And then I'd add my 10, which would be 39. So the perimeter of this shape would be 39 inches. All right, let's do one more. Now we have a triangle. Here are given lengths. This one's pretty simple. We're just going to add all 3 sides up. 10 plus 12 is 22, plus that 5 would be 27. So the perimeter of this would be 27 centimeters. Finding side lengths when the perimeter is known. This only works with a square, with something that all the sides are the same length, and we know that is true of a square. So for example, if a perimeter of a square is 60 inches, we would just divide 60 by 4, because that's how many sides there are, since all the sides on the square are equal. 60 divided by 4 is 15, so each side of the square would be 15 inches long. That's it for this lesson. Make sure you do your practice problems, type up any questions you have in the discussion section, and we'll talk about them next time in class. We'll see you in the video for lesson 9.